Hi, this is going to be holiday special. It's if we are going on holiday, maybe you want to continue with your Pilates while you're away, and perhaps there isn't enough room in your bedroom to do a lying down session, and maybe you just want to do maybe 10 minutes or so. So this is for those occasions. You can still, of course, use it at home too if you haven't got enough room to do the lying down bit. So let's just start off with that posture check. Back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against the wall, shoulders back and down. Tailbone pointing down and zip up and hollow. Open up the hips, engage the buttocks, knees rolling out, arch of the foot lifting and spreading out the toes. Breathing, of course, don't forget the breathing, full and wide into the ribs. You don't interfere with your pull in and pull up. And then just start off with a shoulder roll. Rolling the shoulders around, forward, up and round and back and down. Gradually increase that range of movement. Maybe by putting the hands on the shoulders and circling the elbows. Nice and smooth, hopefully not too many creaks and crunches going on in there. And then if you want to, you could make that a little bit bigger. You could stretch the arms all the way out and sweep them round. If that's too much for the shoulders, of course, you can stay with just the shoulder roll or just the elbow circle. Reaching forward as you exhale up and inhale, bring it round and back and down. Keeping everything stable, back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against that imaginary wall. Opening the chest, slide the shoulder blades down. And then keeping the chest open, just lift up the toes. And then put down the little toe, the next toe, the next toe, the next toe, and finish with the big toe. So do a sort of wave with your toes. So you're lifting the toes up, and then the little one, the next one, the next one, the next one, and the big toes go down. So just lifting up and then spreading out the toes as you put them down. Next, one more time, and then just all the way down, spreading out the toes. And then from there, just concentrating on the hips, relax the knees, have them just slightly bent, tilt the pelvis forward and tilt it back, tilt it forward and tilt it back, and scooping out the tummy, working into that lower back a little bit. As you tilt back, feel that little contraction in the lower back as you tilt back, and scooping out the tummy as you tilt forward, getting flexibility into your hips and pelvis. And then lengthen up, tailbone pointing down, keeping that zip up and hollow, so the neutral spine going on here. And then from here, just lift the right heel, left arm forward, right arm back, and then put the heel down and swap the arms and lift the left heel. So you put the heel down and swap the arms. Keeping the headlamps on the hip bones pointing forward, headlamps on the chest pointing forward so your torso doesn't move at all. And then see if you can, going to lift the heel and then push up onto the balls of both of the feet and swap. Pushing up and swapping. Balancing, calf muscles working, core muscles working to balance. Pushing up and over, maybe exhale over and inhale, bring it back again. And think about having that piece of string in the centre of your head, pulling you up towards the ceiling. And then maybe one more time, either side. And then just relax and bring the heel down. Then lift the right heel again. Keep the hips pointing forward and turn the knee out, turn the knee in. Just turning out and in. Getting some flexibility into the hip, but switching on those core muscles, keeping those headlamps on the hips pointing forward. Bring it back to start, push up onto the balls of both of the feet and swap. Turn out the knee and bring it back again. Exhale out, inhale back, but without moving anything else, keeping that torso stable. So working the inner thigh, the outer thigh a little bit. And of course there's an element of balance going on there too. And then bring it back to start position. Push up onto the balls of both of the feet and swap. Now you can repeat that if you want to, otherwise just slide the sole of the foot up onto the calf muscle and then bring it in and out. So the same thing, but of course challenging your balance a little bit more. Inner outer thighs working, load bearing for that standing leg. But you can leave the toes on the floor if that's too much. Keep the shoulders back and down, head up nice and tall, and then replace the foot and swap to the other side. Again, you can just turn out, turn in, or sole the foot onto the calf and turn out and in. Try to keep as stable as you can. There might be a bit of wobbling going on the ankle, but that's okay. Strengthening those ankles and holding that as steady as you can, making those core muscles work. And then when you've done approximately equal numbers on both sides, just bring it back to start, replace the foot to the floor, and crossing the arms over. Then just lift the right knee up and put it down. Left knee up and put it down. If that's too much, just lift heel and put it down and leave the ball of the foot on the floor. If you can, you lift the knee up towards the arms. Just lift and lower, and lift and lower. Working into the hip flexor and of course balancing again. And then see if you can add a little something else onto that. See if you can lift and twist and put the foot down. Lift, twist and put the foot down. Challenging your balance. Twist and foot down. If it's too much, just lift the heel and add the twist. You decide. Twist with the knee up if you can. Keeping those head lamps on the hip bones, pointing forward. Maybe exhale up, inhale down. Exhale up, inhale down. And then maybe one more time either side. Keep the neck in line with the spine, the nose in line with the sternum. And then bring the arms back down. Then from here, just going to turn to the side again. Take that right foot back. Back heel off the floor. And then lifting the arms forward. And then slide the foot in. Lift the arms forward, slide the foot back. Slide it in. So arms go forward, arms push back. Now see if you can add on to that. Lift the knee, grasp the knee and push back. If that's too much, you stay with the first version. Lift up and balance. Bend that front knee as you take the foot back. Get a bigger range of movement, challenge yourself, and then see if you can hold up, balance and hold, or just leave the foot on the floor with the heel off the floor, if that's too much. And replace the foot, and of course, go to the other side. So you slide back, lift up, and then either just slide the foot in. And of course, each time you straighten the back up, and if you can, you lift up and push back, and lift up and push back. Hug the knee in, nice straight back there, reach forward, bending that front knee. You decide which level you go for here, and slide through, lift, hug the knee in, balancing. I can warm you up a bit. And then from there, just lift that knee up, hold and balance, and replace the foot to the floor. Then taking the legs out nice and wide. If that's okay, if it's not, doing wide squats, I'll give you an alternative to do in a second. So this time again, you're going to squat and take the arms forward and push back. Forward and push back. If that's too much, feet together. Little squat, push back. But if you can, wide legs. And also, make it a little bit more challenging. Lift the heels and balance and push back. Sit and push back. Breathe in, breathe out. If it's too much, feet together with the heels off the floor and push back. Lift up. What about turning the head? Turn the head as you sit back. And if you can, you do with the legs wide, heels off the floor, and squat. Turn the head, and squat. Turn the head. Nice and smooth. Maybe breathing out as you push up, in as you go down, legs together if you need to. And then maybe again one more time each side, or do more if you want to. And then just relax. Bring the feet back to central position. Back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against the wall. And then do a lovely roll down. Drop the chin. Peel yourself off the wall like a piece of wet wallpaper. Head down towards your toes. Just drop. Hold that there. And then slowly come up. Link by link, bone by bone. Remember to keep those knees relaxed. So just drop the chin. Slowly head down. This time add the nod. And the shake, 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 shake. And then come up, link by link, bone by bone. Right back up against the wall. And again, keep that tailbone pointing down with the zip up and hollow. Drop the chin. Slowly, slowly, slowly down. Hold up there. Nodding, nodding, nodding. Shake, 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 shake. And then just cross the arms and do a little swing. Side to side. And then just drop the arms. Now see if you can straighten the legs, just to get a good stretch through the lower back, the buttocks, the hamstrings, and a little bit through the calves, through the backs of the legs. Hold that. And then relax the knees and slowly come up, link by link, bone by bone, up against that imaginary wall again. And hold that there. Now you can just leave it here, excuse me, or you can move on to the rest of the video. And then if you're going to carry on now, you just need to get your mat. And then standing at the back of your mat, keep checking your position, tuck that tailbone under, and then just do that roll down again, nod the head, relax the knees, just roll gently down. And when you've got as far as you can, just hold on either behind your ankles or your calves or your thighs, and just pull your chest in. Keep the head dropped down, pull the chest in, get a really good stretch there, and then drop the arms, bend the knees, and walk all the way out, please, onto your front. Have the hands just underneath the shoulders, elbows pointing up, and lengthen through the legs. Shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles aligned. Hot stone underneath your tummy button, so pull your tummy button up off that hot stone, cup of tea on the back of your pelvis. And then let the head rest, and the forehead down, and just turn your head to the side, let your cheek rest. Slide those shoulder blades down, and then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just hover the hands off the floor, and breathe in to lower down. So you're just hovering the hands, feel those shoulder blades squeeze together. Relax the neck, and keep the buttocks relaxed, and just think about working that posture muscle across the upper back. Squeeze and release. And then maybe just leave the hands down, forehead on the floor, peach underneath the chin, and then lift and lower. So this time, activating your back. Again, keep the buttocks relaxed. If it's not comfortable there with the peach underneath the chin, the forehead down, then keep the peach underneath the chin, but turn your head to the side. And then lift up, look at the floor, and then turn the head to the side. Let your cheek rest again. You can always do that if the forehead's not comfortable. So just lift and lower. Then what about hovering the hands and down? Hover the hands, head and shoulders, and down. So just lifting, you feel those shoulder blades squeeze together, and your back work. And then what about lifting a leg and putting it down? And the other leg and putting it down.
If that's too much, of course, you can leave the head, shoulders, arms on the floor and do leg lift, and then lift the upper body with or without the arms. You can decide. But if you can, both together. So you do lift both the legs and lower. Not stick with the alternate legs, upper and lower separately. And then from there, the add-on would be to lift, extend, bend back and down. So just exhale up, inhale, hold. Exhale, extend, inhale, back and down. If it's too much, of course, any of the earlier options. Don't forget the peach. No strain on the neck. Adding in your buttocks into this, shoulders, and a little bit of bicep, tricep, lats down the side. Squeeze those shoulder blades back to work that posture muscle. Lift, hold, extend, gently back, down. What about adding on? Or changing actually. Lift, extend and hold. Lift, right arm, left leg, and swap, and swap, and swap, and swap. And again, you do a few of those, bring it back and down, and repeat as many times as you want to. So you decide how many times. Of course, you don't have to do this. You can just repeat the earlier options. Don't forget to hold and breathe. And when you've done enough, bring it back and down. Come up onto the hands and knees if it's okay. Sit back onto the heels, let the forehead rest. Stretch the lower back and the buttocks. Remembering if that is not comfortable, you can sit on your bottom, swing your legs round in front of you, reach over the beach ball for your toes. Tucking the pelvis underneath that big beach ball to get the stretch in the lower back and the buttocks. And then the best way you know how, please roll down onto your back. Tilt the pelvis maybe, engage the tummy and gently roll back down. Remember, you can always hold on behind one thigh to help you. And then once you're down there, slide the feet in, knees are up, feet flat on the floor. Shoulders, hips, knees and ankles aligned. And then taking the arms out to the side, crucifix position, the palms turned down. Chin down over the peach. Bring the knees and the feet together. And then keeping the shoulder blades glued down, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, roll the knees over to the right side. Hold to breathe in and breathing out, bring it back to centre. Hold to breathe in the centre, breathing out to take it the other way. Hold to breathe in and breathing out, bring it back. Try and keep those knees together. Then the inner thighs will work a little bit as well. Just keep the neck in line with the spine. Keep the shoulder blades down. And get some stretch around your middle, working into your waist. And of course the inner and outer thighs a little bit too. Flexibility into your hips. And then if you want to stay with that level, keeping those shoulder blades down, then you can stay there. Otherwise, lift one leg up into tabletop. Press your back into the mat, lift the other leg up into tabletop. Knees over the sit bone, chin parallel to the floor. So make sure you're not bringing your knees into your chest and crushing your grape. You want your knees over the sit bone, so you've got to brace your tummy to keep you back on your grape there. And then hold the legs there at 12 on your clock. And then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, take the knees over to 10 on your clock. Hold to breathe in and breathing out, bring it back to 12. Hold to breathe in and breathing out, roll over to 2. And then bringing it back again. So it's just over to 10, hold to breathe in. Breathing out, bring it back, hold to breathe in. Breathing out, take it over to 2. Hold to breathe in. And breathing out to bring it back. If it's too much, just leave the feet on the floor. Keep those shoulder blades glued right down. Keeping that 90-degree angle at the hip and the knees. If you want to leave it there, you could leave it there, or maybe you could take it over to maybe 3 and 9, a little bit further over, get a bit more stretch. And of course, when you've got to heave the legs back up, that's more challenge for your middle muscles. So you can stay, you could do 1 and 11 even, 2 and 10, or you can do 3 and 9. If you want to, you could add on to that one as well. So this time what you can do is just take it over as far as you feel comfortable-ish with, and then unbend the top leg. Keep the knees together, make sure the knees and the thighs stay together, and then bend it back in and back to 12. So we exhale out, inhale, hold. Exhale, top leg unbends. Inhale to bring it back, and exhale back to center. Inhale, hold, and then take it the other way. Keeping those shoulder blades glued down, the knees and the thighs together. So what you don't do is when you take it over, you don't take your leg away from the thigh. Keep the thighs and the knees together. If you want to, you can make that even more challenging. You can take over to 1 or 2 or 3, and then unbend both the legs, and then bend them back in again. But remember, you're not moving your thighs at all. So when you go over, you're not doing that with your thighs. You're keeping your thighs at exactly the same angle and unbending. Now, you're only going to be able to do this if you've got really stretchy hamstrings. So if that's too much, just stay with one of the earlier options. But you can make it more challenging by taking the legs further over rather than doing the unbending. So you decide which level you're going for here. Remember to keep that 90-degree angle at the hips. So lots of flexibility into your spine, getting in some work into your quadriceps as well to unbend the legs. And then you can decide how many you want to do. If you've had enough, you've done equal numbers on both sides, just bring it back to start, hug the knees in, and just like have a little rock side to side. Just hug the knees in and release that lower back. And then from there, just putting one foot down, the other foot down, and lengthen through the neck, bring the chin down over the peach, reach for the toes. Breathing in, nod your head, breathing out, curl up, head and shoulders off the floor, reach forward, hold to breathe in, and breathing out to gently take it back down. Keep the feet rooted in, orange width between the knees, graping the small of your back to start with, and trade marbles across the pelvis. Breathing in to nod, breathing out, pick up the peach, crush the grape, look underneath the orange, hold to breathe in, breathing out to gently take it back down. Now remember, you can support the head with one hand or both hands if you need to, but don't pull on the head. Press the head into the hand and the hand into the head, and that will support your head without putting a strain on your neck. So one hand or both hands, you can decide, or if you can, you leave the arms forward. Breathing in to nod, breathing out to curl up, push forward, and gently down. If it's too much altogether, of course, you can just stay with the pelvic tilt, scooping out the tummy. You could always have a little rest, do a few pelvic tilts, and then start again. Then, of course, there's an add-on if you're interested. Breathing in to nod, breathing out to curl up, crush the grape. Hold to breathe in, breathing out. Open the arms, breathing in, reach forward, and breathing out to go down. So it'll be breathing in to nod, breathing out, reach, crush that grape. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, open, without the shoulders going down, reach forward again, and then gently down. That's too much, you stay with the earlier options. And you can, of course, support the head. Breathing in, nod your head, breathing out, curl forward. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, take the other arm out, reach forward and go down. And the next time, of course, you would swap to the other hand. Breathing in, nod your head, breathing out, up, trying to pull on the head. Reach with the arm, bring it forward and down. If it's too much, you can just support the head with both hands and stay with the curl up. And then you can make it more challenging if you want to. Make sure you've got your feet, heels directly underneath the knees. Breathing in, nod your head, breathing out, curl forward, crush the grape. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, open. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, arms over the head, arms by the ears. Breathing in, sweep it round, and breathing out to go down. That's a lot more challenging. Remember, when you're taking your arms over, you're not allowing your shoulder blades and shoulders to go back towards the floor. Really making rectus abdominis down the front work. Breathing in to nod, breathing out, push. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, open. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, reach. Breathing in, sweep it round, push forward again. And then gently on the out breath you go down. If that's too much, of course, you can use one hand while you support the head with the other hand and then change hands. If you can, just breathe in, nod, breathing out, push. Hold, press that tummy button into your backbone. Reach out to the side. Don't let those shoulders go down. So you reach up, arms by the ears, still looking forward. Sweep it round and then gently down. And again, you decide how many repetitions of this you're going to do. Keep everything below the waist absolutely still, supporting the head if you need to. I'm going to do one more, but you do more if you would like to. So push, crush that grape, keep the tray of marbles still, stretching back, sweeping round, push again, and then gently down. And then let the head roll from side to side and ease out any tension in the neck. Just let the head roll side to side, easing out the neck. And then stretch the legs out, take the arms over the top of your head. Give yourself a full body stretch, tips of fingers to tips of toes. Lengthen and stretch, breathe. Lift the rib cage away from the hips, and then because you've been working your waist too, cross your right ankle over your left ankle, take hold of your right wrist with your left hand, and do that big bend to the side. If that's not comfortable, arms down by your side, and then just reach with your left hand down the seam of the trouser leg. Take the rib towards the hip to stretch down the side. And then swapping to the other side. If you can, you take hold of that left wrist and just ease the body across. Take the rib from the hip and the hip from the rib. Keep the shoulders down, the hips down, and just lengthen down the side. Hold and stretch. And then just gently bring it back again to the start position. Knees up, feet flat on the floor. And of course, checking your position again. Keep the chin down, lengthen through the back of the neck, little grape in the small of your back, orange width between the knees, and heels in line with the sit bone. So shoulders, hips, knees, ankles aligned. Relax the neck and the shoulders. And then just tilting the pelvis, pressing your lower back into the mat, and then release. Maybe exhale to tilt, and inhale to release. Just scooping out the tummy, keeping the feet rooted into the floor, and isolate those deep, deep abdominal muscles. Crushing the grape with each one. So it's just exhale to tilt, and inhale to release. Keep the buttocks relaxed, and just isolate the pelvis. And if you want to stay with that, you can stay with that. Otherwise, you lift one knee up into tabletop, press your back into the mat, lift the other leg up into tabletop. And keep the knees over the sit bones, so you're not going to actually swing them into the chest. You're going to move the pelvis without actually swinging the legs, so making the tummy muscles work. So maybe exhale to tilt and inhale to release. Keep the chin down over the peach. Remember, if you have trouble keeping your chin down, you can always just pop a little cushion underneath your head. Keep that chin down all the time. So you're going to crush the grape and then put the grape back in again. Just moving the pelvis. The legs will move, but only because the pelvis is moving. And then from there, maybe you might want to make that a little bit more challenging. So you could pull it in and pulse, 1, 2, 3, and release. So pulling in, pulse, 1, 2, 3, and release. So really feel those deep abdominals work. Remembering not to allow that chin to tilt up when you tilt the pelvis. That's too much. Of course, you can just stay with the feet on the floor or just do the tilt and release. Keeping the rib cage knitted down. It's just a small movement, but very strong. Now, if you want to, you could add onto that. You can curl up, head and shoulders off the floor, and hold it there and pulse. 1, 2, 3, and release. 1, 2, 3, and release. Remember, you can support the head with one hand or both hands while you do this. So you keep the grape crushed this time. Just 3 little pulses and release. Keeping the head, the shoulders, the shoulder blades off the floor. You can always put the feet down if that's too much. And do the tilt, 2, 3, release. Tilt, 2, 3, release. Whichever one you're doing, you keep that grape crushed. And then you decide, as usual, how many repetitions you would like to do. And then when you've done enough, you just put one foot down, the other foot down, let the head and the shoulders rest down, and let the head roll from side to side, easing the tension in the neck. And then stretch the legs out, take the arms over the top of your head, and lengthen through from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Just lengthen and stretch and breathe. Lift the rib cage, take the hips from the ribs. Holding that there. And then if you just like to roll over, please, on to your front. And then if you're okay with it, please come up onto the hands and knees. If you are not happy on your hands and knees, please just lie on your front and I will give you an alternative to do. So setting this up, make sure you've got your hands directly underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips, make sure there's no dip in your back. Tuck the pelvis under slightly, peach underneath the chin, ears pointing forward. Cup of tea between the shoulder blades, cup of tea on the back of the pelvis, tummy pulled up into the backbone. Sliding the shoulder blades down your back. Then just take a breath in, and as you breathe out, slide one foot directly out behind you, and breathe in to slide it back. Exhale the other leg out, and breathe in to slide it back. So that's all you're doing. But keeping the cup of tea still. Those 2 cups of tea, one between the shoulder blades, and one on the back of the pelvis. Now if you need to be on your front, just go down, let the forehead rest, lengthen through the legs, shoulders, hips, knees and ankles aligned, and then just lift and lower alternate legs, still with those same 2 cups of tea in place. However, if you're on your hands and knees, you could add in an arm. Remember, you can always come up on your knuckles if you're not comfortable on the palms. And then you would add in opposite arm and leg. So sliding out, say right arm, left leg, and then sliding in. Again, try to keep those cups of tea still. Keep that tummy pulled up into the backbone all the time. Just reaching out, making sure that a hip does not drop or a shoulder drop. Because if it does, the tea is going to slide off. And then lying on your front, you would extend the arms and the legs, and then opposite arm and leg, keeping the head and shoulders on the floor, and the 2 cups of tea in place. Maybe exhale up, inhale down, exhale up, inhale down. But if you can, hands and knees, because clearly that's going to promote bone growth in your wrists as well. So sliding out, opposite arm and leg. And then see if you can add a lift onto that. Just slide out and lift and balance. Gently bring the fingers and the toes back down, slide back under. Still got those 2 cups of tea. Try not to allow a dip in your back. Otherwise the tea will slide into the dip. Just sliding out and lift, hold to breathe in and breathing out, gently bring it back down. Lying on your front, you would continue with the opposite arm and leg lifts. Maybe turn the thumb up towards the ceiling, just to try and get that arm up level with the ear, and then also maybe flex the foot and push the heel away from you. And that will get some stretch through the back of the leg, make your buttock work up a little bit more. Nice and smooth. And try and get a nice straight line from the fingers to the heel. And then, when you've done equal numbers on both sides, you can add on to that. You can slide out and lift. Now forget the cups of tea, and then bring the elbow in. Don't forget the peach underneath the chin. And reach out and repeat. Elbow to knee, stretching out. Maybe exhale in, inhale out. Nice and smooth. Keep a count, see how many you're doing on that side. You do as many as you're comfortable with, and then when you're ready, you could change to the other side and swap. Now, if you are lying on your front, the alternative to that would be to roll over onto your back. And maybe fingertips behind the head, elbows right back. Curl up and do opposite shoulder to knee. One elbow to floor, one elbow to ceiling. And again, repeat as many times as you want to on one side, and then swap and do equal numbers on the other side. But if you're on your hands and knees, still going. You decide how many repetitions you're going to do. So you're going to work into that rectus abdominis muscle again. Those deep stabilizer muscles, and of course hip flexors, quadriceps, hamstrings working. And the buttocks. Don't forget the peach. And then when you've done equal numbers on both sides, if it's all right for you, sit back onto the heels. Let the forehead rest down. You might just want to take the arms behind your palms up and rotate those wrists. Just easing out the wrists. Or of course you can sit on your bottom. Swing your legs round in front of you. Reach over that big beach ball for your toes, tuck the pelvis underneath the ball, and rotate those wrists. And stretch the buttocks. And from here, going onto your front again, please. Let the forehead rest down onto the backs of the hands, lengthen the legs. Tummy button, of course, pulled up already off that little flat hot stone. Slide shoulder blades down your back. Keep the peach underneath the chin. And then to start off nice and easy, we're going back to that pelvic tilt again. So just tilting the pelvis, bring the hip bones towards the rib cage and release. Maybe breathing in to tilt and breathing out to release. Just keep the buttocks relaxed and tilt. Pressing the hip bones into the mat as if you're trying to get your hips to go towards your rib cage, but they won't because the mat's in the way. Keep the head down, the neck relaxed. And then you can stay with that if you want to. More pelvic tilting. Or you can come up onto your elbows. Elbows directly underneath the shoulders, peach underneath the chin. Legs still long. And stay with that pelvic tilting. Scooping out the tummy. If that's too much, of course, you can stay on your front. Doesn't matter whether the palms are down, palms up, palms facing. You can make fists. You could clasp the hands together, and some people like to cross the arms over. But don't forget the peach, so there's no strain on the neck. Just inhale to tilt, exhale to release. Keep the shoulders down, the neck relaxed. And then, if you want to, of course, you can add on to that. Keeping those shoulders down, breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick the hips up. Make sure the pelvis stays tucked under. Hold to breathe in and breathing out to gently bring it back down. If it's too much for the knees, of course, you can just stay on your front and tilt the pelvis. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick up. Make sure your bottom doesn't stick up. Tuck the pelvis under. Keep those shoulder blades flat against your back and then gently bring it back down. So it's just breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick up. Keep that pelvis tucked. under the neck and line and gently down. And of course, if that's too much, you just stay with the earlier options. But you can add on to that. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick up, hold to breathe in. Now, changing. Bring your rib cage to your hips as well as your hips to your ribs. Drop the head. Look between the legs. Hold to breathe in and breathing out. Release and gently bring it back down. So again, you're working rectus abdominis down the front. So breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick up. Hold to breathe in, breathing out. Make a big curve with your spine. Ribs to hips, hips to ribs. Hold to breathe in and breathing out to gently take it back down with control. Now, if you wanted to make it a little bit more challenging, you could just hold it up. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick up. Hold to breathe in. Breathing out, ribs to hips, hips to ribs. Hold to breathe in. Breathing out, release, just flatten the back again. And repeat. Just curling under. Looking back, drop the head and release. So you can really feel those deep abdominal muscles work. And your six pack. If that's too much, of course, you can stay with the earlier options. As usual, it's quite hard to do when you're in this position, or to talk rather when you're in this position. Just tuck it under, drop the head, push. How many more do you think? You decide. And then maybe one more. But you do some more if you want to. And then just gently take it back down. And then take the arms out to the side, crucifix, bend the elbows at a 90-degree angle. Keep the legs long. And then just lengthen through the tummy. Lift the chest, leaving the forearms on the floor if you want to. Otherwise, you can lift up. Don't forget your peach underneath your chin. Lift the rib cage, push it forward and stretch the tummy. Slide your shoulder blades down. Make sure the shoulders stay away from the ears. But of course, you can leave the forearms on the floor if you want to. If you want a little bit more range of movement, you could bring the hands underneath the shoulders and push up and lift. And that will give you more stretch through your tummy and contract your back too. But you decide which of those works best for you. And when you've a good stretch there, just relax back down. Then if you just want to take the forehead down onto the back of one hand, reach behind with the other hand for the foot on the same side. Bring the knees together, press the hip into the floor and stretch the front of the thigh. Remember, you can always get hold of your sock or your trouser leg, or you can cross the opposite ankle over just to ease the leg in if that works better. You can also lift the head and the shoulders to increase the intensity of the stretch, but keep the eyes focused on the back of the hand, then you're not engaging your neck. And when you're ready, change to the other side. Remember, knees together, press the hip down, get a really good stretch in the front of the hip and the thigh. Lifting head and shoulders, but only if you feel you need that extra stretch. Keep the shoulders right down away from the ears, the peach underneath your chin, eyes focused on the hand. And when you've had a good stretch there, replacing the foot, and gently roll over, please, onto your back. Chin down again over the peach. Now see if you can get hold of your big toes. And then stretch the legs out nice and straight. Get some stretch through those hamstrings. Push the heels away from you to get stretch through the calves as well. Now if that's too much, because your hamstrings are tight, just leave one foot on the floor, hold on behind the thigh or the calf, or the front of the trouser leg, and ease the leg in, turning the toes down, the heel up. So you can hold on behind the thigh or the calf, or both hands there, whichever works better. And change legs, obviously. But if you can, you're holding onto your toes and you're straightening your legs. Turning the toes down, pushing the heels away from you. Really good stretch, the legs as straight as you can. And then just putting one foot down, the other foot down. And then the best way you know how, coming up to sitting, maybe stretch the arms out behind, but keep the rib cage down. Breathing in, nod your head, float the arms up, breathing out, peel off up to sitting. But remember, you can put your hands behind you to push up. You can hold on behind one thigh to pull up. And then sitting with the legs crossed. If that is comfortable for you. You can always pop a cushion underneath your bottom, which would help to keep your back up nice and straight. And you can also have straight legs if you need to. And you take your hands to the either side of the thigh, the knee, and then just rotate your shoulder, the opposite shoulder towards the knee, turn the head and look over the shoulder, getting a stretch through the neck too. And then lengthen up and swap it to the other side. And twist and shoulder to knee and look over the shoulder. If that isn't comfortable, you can do straight legs and just do the twist, keep the buttocks down, whichever one you're doing. Don't forget to turn the head. And then coming back again to the center. Take your upper body forward, chest towards the floor. Get a really good stretch. Of course, you can leave your legs out straight if you want to, and just reach forward over your legs, holding that there. And then lengthen up, and then change your crossover. Sit up tall, hands to either side, shoulder to knee, and turn the head. Keep those buttocks glued down. And then lengthen up, swap to the other side, straight legs if you need to, shoulder to knee, turn the head. Getting that flexibility in the spine of the neck. Bring it back to center and take it down again, just as far as you can. Peach underneath the chin, no strain on the neck, keep the buttocks down. Just take those arms and chest as far down as you can. Get a really good stretch outside hip and thigh, down to the buttock, lower back. Hold and stretch. And then lengthen up again, and then just release those shoulders. Nice big shoulder roll, because you've done quite a bit of load bearing on those shoulders. And then there we are, number 49. Can't believe it. But we're not that far away now, hopefully, from getting together and doing proper classes again. Really looking forward to seeing everybody. But in the meantime, I will be here again next week. And thank you very much, always, for staying with me and for your generous contributions. Bye for now.